Welcome back to the program. So we did not have the hour of rage for tonight. There was a scheduling issue. Dan took on some other responsibilities, another job, and it's been a little tough. But we are planning on doing the Rage of Aquarius for this Sunday night. So you get me. Couple of things. So President Trump has been talking about the SAVE Act, pass the SAVE Act, right? He just said it recently. And now we know that basically the Senate Republicans, because they lost, their rhinos, right? They're going to lose Cornyn. I saw a poll. It was like 62% to 32%. I mean, he's blowing out Cornyn, thankfully. And then he lost, of course, Cassidy, and he lost Massey, right? And so they're losing a lot of their folks, and they're not happy about it. Mitch McConnell's gone and everything else. So they've decided to leave town and basically give the middle finger to President Trump and say, your agenda's dead. Meaning what? That means everything that was going to be, including possibly the SAVE Act, is now dead because of these rhino scumbags. Is President Trump sitting there quietly crying in the corner? Far from it, okay? Now, here's the thing. We've got to get rid of John Thune. He has to go. He absolutely has to go. There's no question about it anymore. He can't be, solved or anything like solved or whatever. He has to go. And that's what we need to concentrate on. And he needs to be punished. Him and the rest of the Republicans need to be punished for what they are doing. Now, with that being said, at least at this point, the Save America Act is dead. Now, there is another way to secure our elections. And interestingly enough, President Trump tried to already do this in 2025. And better yet, if he does this, which I'm going to discuss, the courts can't get involved. They can't stop it. This was President Trump, I believe yesterday or the day before. And I want you to listen closely to what he says.
That election, and have you seen that report?
I think the elections are so rigged, and we have to do something about it, and we're going to do something about it.
They've learned lessons.
And we're going to do something about it. Listen.
I think the elections are so rigged, and we have to do something about it, and we're going to do something about it. But we cannot continue to have, and frankly, the Senate and the House, they ought to get together and they ought to pass the Save America Act so that you have voter ID, and it's so important you have proof of citizenship, little thing like proof of citizenship, and also mail-in voting, which is so crooked. So in Maryland, as you probably saw, they had 500,000 mail-in.
So anyway, he goes on about everything else. But the key is, we're gonna do something about it. What exactly is he referring to? Well, that's where I come in. Listen to this. President Trump in 2025 was all set and prepared to declare a national security emergency for U.S. elections. The National Security Declaration was primarily based on the fact, of course, that the 2020 election clearly was stolen. There was interference with multiple countries, including, of course, China. And along with that, there's now a criminal conspiracy that is taking place. They've raided Maricopa County. They've raided Fulton County. And now I'm hearing right now, they're getting ready to raid Milwaukee in Wisconsin. And get this, they're even having discussions with the local Milwaukee police, okay? Because they were in charge of overseeing ballots going from different locations. So I'm telling you, and I am confident of this, that this criminal conspiracy is still ongoing. They're still working on it. I do believe it's going to be a 6 to 7 state criminal conspiracy indictment. And I think you're looking at the second, third, or fourth month of 2027. It's going to take time, but that's what they're working on. Let's get back to this right now, present day. So along with the National Security Emergency Declaration was a 17-page executive order that addressed everything from voter ID to voter registrations to limiting voting through the mail, going back to the old style absentee ballots where the only people that can vote through the mail were overseas, military, elderly, or the disabled. President Trump never released the National Security Emergency Declaration. Why? Well, pretty simple. Because people close to him and his administration said, don't worry about it. We don't need it because we're going to get the Save America Act passed. So in other words, he said, okay, I'll hold off on it and we'll concentrate on getting the SAVE Act done. Well, we already know what's happening with that, okay? So President Trump never released the National Security Executive Order. It's time that he does it. And apparently, that's exactly what he's planning on doing. Listen to this. In 1976, Congress passed the National Emergency Act, the NEA, which gave Congress the power to revoke a president's national security emergencies with just a simple majority. So let's say, for whatever reason, President, whoever says it's a national emergency, I don't have to tell you the reason why, and that's it, it's over, I'm doing it. Well, Congress said, no, we're going to interfere into the executive branch, and we're going to say, no, you can't. Well, guess what? Ronald Reagan said, I don't think so. And he challenged this rule. In the 1980s, President Reagan challenged that rule. Reagan argued that Congress should never, ever have the authority to take down something as serious as a national security emergency. So, in 1983, the Supreme Court ruled that the only way that Congress can undo a presidential national security is with 2/3 majority vote, okay, in both chambers of Congress. Now, let's go through this. So, if he was to file this emergency declaration for our elections, clearly because of the interference, because of the illegal aliens continuously voting in our elections, and the fact that we don't have voter ID, we don't have proof of citizenship, all the things that we need, he can do this. And guess what? They can't step in and stop him. Why? Well, pretty simple. Because we have the Senate, number one, and number two, we barely have Congress, we barely have the House. You really think that they're going to get in both chambers 2/3 to stop it? Not going to happen, folks. Not going to happen. And by the way, Congress has 6 months from the time the national security emergency is signed to achieve the 2/3 majority vote in both houses and the Senate. President Trump could declare a national security emergency, I don't know, maybe let's say August, maybe somewhere around there, August, September, somewhere right around there, with just enough time to lead up to the election, forcing every single state to abide by this executive order. It gets better. Article 15 in the United States Constitution says, quote, American citizens, not non-citizens, citizens, must be afforded the right to vote, but it doesn't give the green light for illegal aliens or non-voting citizens. Check this out. Article 6 in the U.S. Constitution states, it is the supreme law of the land and must be followed by government, judges, and citizens, not non-citizens. Now, what does that say? It is the supreme law of the land and must be followed by government, judges, and citizens. By declaring a national security emergency for elections based on illegal aliens and non-citizens voting by the millions, it's easy to prove that there is indeed a warranted use of a national security election emergency. It gets better. here's the other part of this. Where is it? Right here. So you got to get the 2/3 vote, right? But the other thing is, you can't challenge it. The courts can't challenge it. Democrats and judicial gnats cannot step in and challenge this national security emergency edict, executive order. It cannot be challenged. Because why? Because Reagan was smart enough in 1983 to bring it to the Supreme Court and challenge it. If that wasn't the case, then yes, it could be thrown out and it could be challenged. Not anymore. This is the brilliance of Peter Ticktin. Peter Ticktin is somebody that has been friends with President Trump for well over 60 years. They went to the military academy together. They played on the same sports teams together. They've known each other longer than Roger Stone has known him, which is probably close to 45, 50 years, and Rudy Giuliani probably close to 45, 50 years as well. This guy surpasses them. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not making a prediction, but in my opinion, I believe that Peter Ticktin is going to be chosen to be the Attorney General. I have that feeling because Peter Ticktin is a brilliant legal mind. Peter Ticktin is the one, along with John Goodman and a few others, that is working on this emergency declaration probably right now as we speak. And Peter Ticktin will not be confirmed, nor does he have to be. Why? Very simple. Because of the Vacancies Act. The Vacancies Act clearly says that you can serve. I could serve. You could serve. Hell, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Goofy, Harrison Ford, James Woods, Jackson Dart, who just endorsed, President Trump basically today in New York, is the Giants quarterback. It doesn't matter who it is. Peter Ticktin doesn't matter. Anyone he chooses can serve for 210 days or 7 months, whichever comes first. Remember, they were going to do that with Matt Gaetz before they put in Bondi, right? So I have a feeling, again, I'm not making this prediction because I don't know for sure, but I have a feeling he's probably going to appoint Peter Ticktin to the Attorney General. And if he does, Peter Ticktin wants to go after the deep state in the worst way. He was great for all the J6ers. He defended them all. He is MAGA to the core. He's an older gentleman, and he would be phenomenal. But the best part about this, and when he does this, I don't know. I'm hoping he's going to do it sometime around August or September. So remember this show in particular. But when he does it, the left is going to go apeshit, and the judges are going to go apeshit, and there's nothing they can do about it. They can't stop it, which means that if he does it with enough time, whenever that time is, these states, they're going to have to abide by this national security emergency. So we may not get the SAVE Act or the Pass the America Act, Save America Act, right? We may not get that right now. But if he drops this national security emergency declaration executive order that needs 2/3 majority, which they're not going to get, and can't be challenged by the courts, say hello to hopefully victory in the 2026 midterm elections. Couple that with the redistricting battles that we are clearly winning, and we should be in good shape. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Put them down in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one.